Okay, hello students. We're going to continue our work on high rises, going back to our panel building. We will be just exploring a couple techniques you're going to need when it comes to developing your own 10-story skyscraper, which is the final project. So I have my massing and I have that paneling system that I was working on. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start adding floors and walls, because right now it's still just a massing. It's very straightforward. Just go here, mass floors. We already have that for the levels in case you didn't. So go back to massing. And now you can create a floor by face. So click this, select multiple, sure. And it's just going to go ahead and let you pick these. Create floor. There you go. We also want to create walls, so click on the wall by face. This is happening because it's such a crazy geometry. For now, it's okay. Let's do that again. Okay, as you like. And last. And the last piece we'll need is a roof. Create the roof. So now we have all our sort of building components that we can extract from this mass. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to just modify this material here so that it's glass. So I'll make it this. I don't even know if storefront would work. Okay, fine. It's having issues building glass walls on these other sides, but this one will be fine. So now let's go ahead and try and get some additional elements in here. The first thing I'm going to try and do is punch a hole through all the floors to add a vertical cut and place a multi-story stair. So under the architecture tab, I can go to shaft. I am just going to quickly sketch this in because I will change it later. Let's say I want that shaft to be there. There is this base connect. I can make the top constraint up to level 6. And I'm just going to move this slightly. Maybe just nudge it. There you go. And then click. And let's just go see what's going on in 3D view. Okay, so we have holes, but it doesn't look like we have holes. You can kind of tell that there's stuff over top of it. And that's because there's still like a massing thing over top of your floor layer. This is something that commonly causes problems, and you can just delete them. This is like a common problem in a lot of models. But you can see that when you start to delete them, they are starting to actually have holes in it. That's all of them. Yeah. So now that I have my vertical shaft placed, I can go ahead and do a stair. So we all know stair tabs, right? And click this. So one of the things we need to work towards is getting the connect to levels light to shine up. So let's just try a run this way. Let me just do this again. And we'll do a stair. So we have 11 risers created, 7 remaining. Let's get this down to like 9, 9. So it's like in the middle. And then we'll come over here and we'll do the other 9. And you have this nice walk around. Once you've developed one set of stairs, if you go into the 3D view, you see it's down there on the first floor to the second floor. Once you've done that, you can actually that was good. You can actually start to connect levels. So hit connect levels. Your levels will pop up. I am not sure if you can do this in multiple ways, but I one by one work my way up. I will click on this again. Connect levels. Connect levels. Work my way up. We will stop it there because let's just say we don't need stairs like this to the roof. One thing that I know I'm going to want to do is go back and modify this. So you can just edit this sketch. I think it's easier typically to let the stair tell you what it's going to be like. And then you can modify this. Click OK. All right. Wait, let's just delete this thing as well. Sorry. Delete. And now click yes. And now it's all around that. So again, going back to maybe a 3D view, you can see that it's all there. Let's just go up to maybe these two things. We'll hide them. And you can zoom in and sort of see, all right, that's working pretty well. Okay. So now we've done a vertical shaft and we've done a stair. The next thing I am going to do is generate a column grid. So you've all probably done this. I'm just going to move this out of the way. You've probably done this, but if not, you just come over here under architecture. It's right under the levels because they're very similar tools. And you go to grid. And now you are in the grid tools. So all you have to do is drag just like you would a level. So I can click over here and really unscientifically making this parallel. If you zoom in, this is a number 1. You from now on will always have an order like that. So this one will automatically try to be a number 2. So let's just say that's exactly what we wanted. And we will just sort of get these in. I am just randomly putting them at some decent size apart. And this can always be modified later. Not even parallel. Just delete that one. So this is number 6. And just making sure this is number 7. So that looks correct. We can definitely move these things around a little bit. This one's probably not going to go in the middle of a staircase. So click on this baby. And you can either move it manually like that, or you can use these temporary dimensions to move things. So let's say that's all perfect and beautiful. I'm going to, again, just quickly come over here and go to architecture, grid. I'm going to do them quickly in the other direction. Just go like this. If you know anything about grids, typically they are not using the same numbers. So if this direction was numbers, this would be a different system, usually letters. Sometimes it's A and AA. But we'll just call that A. And now I'll continue drawing. So beautiful. So logical. Okay, so now we have a really lovely grid pattern. Next thing we're going to do is put columns in. We're going to do first architectural columns. We will actually do both of them. But first we'll start with architectural. You can place them up to level 6, so that means you only do 1, and I'll show you with my weird twisting building the issues I have. You can rotate it after the placement, so as you can see, rotate after placement is crucial in the case of this one because of the angly things, but they're like not doing a great job because I don't really know the angle. And you can just go ahead and place them wherever you need them. They're getting placed like this. That's what's happening. columns for that end. Next, we'll just go back and do structural columns. Same sort of system here. You can even do slant columns, but you can also say at grid intersections or at columns. So we can just go ahead and click at architectural columns. And if you click on the architectural columns, they will then be nested with structural, which is graphically what you want to show. You want to show the structural column inside an architectural column, which is essentially drywall. Oops. Holding control, so you get lots of them. What is good is it auto rotates. Finish. Oops, don't need that one. Still in the mode. All right. Now the next thing we're gonna quickly talk about is maybe split face. This is something that you could use on a facade or as, you know, a different floor treatment that is under oops. Here, it's called split face. So you can come here, grab the thing you want to split, and you will then again have these tools to draw something. I'm a little worried about that, but just look at that okay for now. So now that's done. Yeah, hopefully it fixes it. No, it's not going to. Just delete that. Let's just draw something simple. So once that's done, you will see that this is still just highlighting a little bit, but you can now come over here and possibly like paint a different material. Let's say this is, no, what is that? Wood stained. You can paint that wood stained, and it will only really show up in your realistic or color view. So there you go. That's a good way to work with split face. The next thing we're going to do, let's just go back to 3D view, make sure everything, all the columns are columning. The columns look like they are there. Just these are poking through. So you can, of course, attach to a top and a base, and I would just go in and select floors individually. That one didn't work. Wait, ditch. Doop. Yes. Okay. So now we have columns, we have stairs, we have openings. The next thing we will work towards is a modified roof. So let's just first off, we'll just do this quickly in 3D view. So where is my roof? Right there. So this is like a flat slab of a roof. It would pretty much never exist in this way. one of the ways that you can adjust this is, well, very quickly, is by modifying the sub-elements. So we can add points all around this thing if we wanted. We can add one in the middle. And then we can modify them. So we could grab this one and enter it at -6 inches. It always likes to do really insanely large increments. I'm not sure why. But, you know, something sensible. Trying to modify a point. Yes. -6. -6 inches. So you can start to see that this can change a little bit. You can also like do something like -2 feet, so that you're sort of creating a place for the water to drain. So while this looks a little too jazzy to be real, it's the sort of beginning of creating an appropriately sloping roof to prevent standing water. Okay, so probably wouldn't look that tessellated, but I digress. So the last thing we're going to learn for this exercise is how to do an exploded view. And if you're unfamiliar with an exploded view, this is pretty much it. You're taking components and lifting them up off of each other so that you can clearly see the entire project. So Revit actually has a really cool method of doing this. And that is called, hold on. Displace elements. So the important thing to know about displacing elements is that it's group based. So you can grab a certain amount of elements and move them, and then they will always move together in the same way. You can actually add items to it. But the first thing you want to do is create a new view. So let's go view. Let's just do a new default 3D view. I mostly just want to duplicate this view. So let's just do that. That's easier. And we'll call this 3D exploded. So the good thing about that is that it will only displace in one specific view. So what we don't really need in our lives is this entire oops, we don't even need this one. This entire thing coming undone. But in one view, we can very easily create this sort of method. So we can grab this, we can displace the mass Although I know that the walls need to be you can then take maybe all of these walls, oops, plus, so like this, plus maybe this, and we can just place this in another direction. We can then go say that was dumb. We need to edit that, and we're going to, these are your pop-ups, we're going to remove this. That needs to go in a different thing. So then hit finish and continue. Until it is beautiful. I would then probably expand these down and up as well. Maybe. We'll see. So this is the sort of task at hand. If you are lacking inspiration in creating a 3D exploded axon, you can actually look it up on any of the architecture websites or just Google or Pinterest, exploded axon. I'm just going to go to VG, turn off these. I don't actually know where they are. Maybe it's here. Levels, killing me. Okay. So your final submission will include a modified sloping roof, walls, floors, architectural and structural columns, a vertical shaft cut with a multi-story stair. And once that's complete, do an exploded view and submit the 3D exploded view.